Good evening. Are you waking up tired even after what should be a full night of sleep, feeling like your drive and energy are fading in ways you can't quite explain? Or noticing that both your daytime vigor and your confidence in intimate moments just don't feel like they used to? If you're over 50 and these frustrations sound familiar, they're not proof that your best days are behind you. They're signals that your nighttime recovery is off, that the body's natural rebuilding process isn't getting the support it needs during those critical hours when you should be recharging. Right now, you're about to discover how one simple vitamin, taken at the right time in the right form at night, may help support deeper, more restorative sleep, steadier daytime vigor, and the kind of reliable performance and confidence that comes when your body actually rebuilds overnight the way it's designed to. If this sounds like something you need, go ahead and like this video, comment with your age and country, and subscribe for senior health guidance that supports sleep, vitality, and the strength you've earned the right to feel. Here's why nights are where men over 50 either genuinely recharge or slowly fall further behind, and why understanding this changes everything about how you approach your health. During the deeper stages of sleep, your body performs its most intensive repair work. Hormone rhythms reset, nerve pathways recover from the day's demands, blood vessels repair microscopic damage, and the entire endocrine system recalibrates to support testosterone production, circulation, and overall vitality. When sleep is broken, shallow, or nutritionally underfueled, these processes run at half strength, which means you wake up without the hormonal support, vascular tone, and nervous system balance that make you feel like yourself. Over weeks and months, that deficit compounds, testosterone drops further, circulation becomes less responsive, stress hormones stay elevated, and both energy and intimacy suffer in ways that feel permanent, but are often just the result of poor overnight recovery. The vitamin we're about to discuss isn't a magic pill that reverses time or replaces medical care, but it is a way to support the biological systems your body already has, giving those overnight rebuilding processes the specific nutrient foundation they need to function the way they're designed to, especially after 50 when absorption, metabolism, and sleep architecture all naturally shift. Now, most men think only about what to take, whether it's a multivitamin, a standalone nutrient, or a targeted supplement, but they completely miss the critical factor of when to take it, and that timing mistake often wastes the vitamin's potential entirely. You've probably seen this pattern in your own life or among friends, swallowing the vitamin randomly with breakfast because it's convenient and part of the morning pill routine, doubling it up with 5 or 6 other supplements that compete for absorption in the gut, or taking forms that are cheap and poorly absorbed but seem like a good deal at the pharmacy. The problem is that many vitamins work best when they align with the body's natural rhythms, and for the vitamin we're discussing today, nighttime is when it supports the exact processes men over 50 need most: deeper sleep initiation, calmer nervous system activation, vascular relaxation, and the hormonal environment that sustains healthy testosterone and circulation overnight. In just a moment, I'm going to name this vitamin plainly, explain the forms worth paying attention to, and walk you through the exact timing that makes biological sense so you're not guessing or wasting money on approaches that don't match how your body actually works. The vitamin is vitamin D, and if you're thinking you've heard about vitamin D 1,000 times before, stay with me. Because what most men over 50 have never been told is how profoundly vitamin D taken at night, specifically 30 to 60 minutes before bed in the right form, can support the interconnected systems that govern sleep quality, sexual vitality, and daytime energy. Vitamin D acts more like a hormone than a traditional vitamin once it's inside your body, binding to receptors in nearly every tissue, including the brain regions that regulate sleep cycles, the vascular smooth muscle that controls blood flow to all areas, including the pelvic region and the cells that produce and regulate testosterone and other key hormones. When vitamin D levels are adequate and timed correctly, research suggests it may help support deeper, less fragmented sleep by influencing melatonin production and calming overactive stress pathways that keep men over 50 waking repeatedly through the night. That deeper, more continuous sleep then creates the exact environment where testosterone production peaks, where blood vessels repair and stay flexible, and where the nervous system resets the sensitivity and responsiveness that translate directly into better morning energy, steadier daytime stamina, and more reliable confidence in intimate situations. It's not that vitamin D directly causes arousal or cures low energy. It's that by supporting the quality and depth of overnight recovery, it removes obstacles between you and the natural vitality your body is still capable of producing when it gets the right support at the right time. So what are the best supported forms of vitamin D for men over 50? And why does form matter just as much as dose and timing? Vitamin D comes primarily in two forms. Vitamin D2, which is plant-derived and generally considered less effective at raising blood levels, and vitamin D3, also called cholecalciferol, which is the form your skin naturally produces in response to sunlight, and the form most research supports for long-term use. Within vitamin D3, you'll find standard capsules or tablets that require fat for absorption, and then newer formulations like micronized or emulsified D3 that are pre-dissolved in oil, or designed for better uptake even on an empty stomach. For men over 50 whose digestion naturally slows and whose ability to absorb fat-soluble vitamins declines with age, choosing a high-quality D3 in a soft gel with oil, or a liquid D3 you can take sublingually or mix into a small amount of food, often makes a meaningful difference in how much actually gets into your bloodstream and how your body tolerates it at night. Cheaper, harder to absorb forms might save a few dollars, but can cause stomach upset when taken in the evening or simply pass through without delivering the benefit you're looking for, which is why investing in a well-absorbed D3 specifically designed for bioavailability is worth the small extra cost when the goal is deep sleep and overnight recovery. Here's how to use vitamin D at night in a way that aligns with your body's natural rhythms and gives you the best chance of noticing real improvements in sleep, vigor, and performance over the next couple of weeks. The dose range that research most commonly supports for men over 50 is between 1,000 and 4,000 international units per day, with most men finding that starting around 2,000 IU in the evening and adjusting based on how they feel and any lab work they've had done with their doctor strikes the right balance between safety and effectiveness. If you've never supplemented with vitamin D before, or if you're particularly sensitive to new supplements, starting at the lower end around 1,000 to 1,500 IU for the first week makes sense, giving your body time to adjust without overwhelming your system or causing side effects like mild digestive discomfort or very rare issues like elevated calcium if you're predisposed. The timing that matters most is 30 to 60 minutes before you plan to be in bed with lights out, which gives the vitamin D time to begin influencing the pathways that support melatonin production and nervous system calming without interfering with your ability to fall asleep quickly. Some men prefer taking it with a small snack that contains a bit of healthy fat, something like a handful of nuts, a piece of cheese, or half an avocado, because fat enhances absorption of this fat-soluble vitamin, while others find that the oil-based soft gel or liquid form works perfectly well on its own with just water or a warm non-caffeinated drink like herbal tea. The key is consistency and calmness. Make this part of your nightly wind-down rather than something you rush through while still mentally engaged with screens or stress, because the act of taking the vitamin at the same time each night becomes a ritual signal to your brain and body that the day is done and it's time to shift into recovery mode. Let me walk you through what tonight looks like so you have a clear picture of how to fold this into your routine without overthinking it. Before bed tonight, have your vitamin D3 supplement ready in whatever form you've chosen, whether that's a soft gel, a liquid dropper, or a dissolvable tablet, and place it somewhere you'll see it as part of your evening routine, like on your nightstand or next to the sink where you brush your teeth. Set a simple reminder on your phone or make a mental note that 30 to 60 minutes before you want to be asleep, you're going to take this vitamin calmly, ideally as you're beginning to dim lights, put away screens, and transition from the day's demands into evening relaxation. Take the vitamin with a small sip of water, or if you're using a form that benefits from fat, with that light snack we talked about, and then give yourself permission to let the rest of your wind down unfold naturally, whether that's reading, light stretching, a warm shower, or simply sitting quietly and breathing slowly as your body recognizes that it's safe to begin the shift into sleep. Don't overthink the process or worry about doing it perfectly. Consistency over the next 2 weeks matters far more than perfection on any single night, and your body will start recognizing the pattern and responding more predictably as the routine becomes familiar. Here's what's happening physiologically when you take vitamin D in the evening, and why those changes often translate into feeling like you're finally getting real rest and waking up more like yourself again. Vitamin D influences receptors in the brainstem and hypothalamus that regulate circadian rhythms and sleep architecture. And when taken in the evening, it may help support the natural rise in melatonin that signals to your brain that it's time to sleep deeply rather than cycling through light, fragmented stages all night. It also appears to modulate the stress hormone cortisol, which in many men over 50 stays elevated into the evening and prevents the nervous system from fully relaxing. And by helping to calm that stress response, vitamin D creates the internal environment where muscles release tension, blood pressure drops slightly, and the body genuinely enters the parasympathetic rest and digest mode that's essential for hormone production and vascular repair. As sleep deepens and becomes less interrupted, testosterone production, which peaks during REM and deep sleep stages, has more opportunity to do its job, and that improved hormonal environment supports not just energy and mood the next day, but also the vascular tone and nervous system sensitivity that makes sexual confidence and performance feel more reliable and less like a struggle. Over 7 to 14 nights of consistent vitamin D at the right time, many men report that falling asleep feels noticeably easier, that they wake fewer times during the night or fall back asleep more quickly when they do wake, that their mind feels quieter and less prone to the racing thoughts that used to keep them up, and that their morning energy, mood, and sense of physical capability feel more like they remember from years past. Not perfect, not 25 again, but genuinely better and more stable than the frustrated, exhausted baseline they'd come to accept as normal. Now let's talk about safety and who needs to be cautious or check with a doctor before starting this routine. Because even though vitamin D is generally well tolerated and safe at recommended doses, certain conditions and medications require personalized guidance. Men with kidney disease, especially chronic kidney disease, or a history of kidney stones, need to discuss vitamin D supplementation with their nephrologist or primary care doctor before starting, because impaired kidney function can affect how the body processes vitamin D and can lead to elevated calcium levels that cause additional problems. Men with liver disease should also check in with their healthcare provider, since the liver plays a key role in converting vitamin D into its active form. Certain heart conditions, particularly those involving calcium metabolism or arrhythmias, may require careful monitoring when adding vitamin D and men taking medications like digoxin for heart rhythm or thiazide diuretics for blood pressure should have their doctor review the combination to avoid interactions. At very high doses, well above the 4,000 IU range we're discussing, some people experience digestive upset like nausea or constipation, and in rare cases, excessive vitamin D can cause flushing, low blood pressure, or elevated calcium that manifests as confusion, excessive thirst, or weakness. But these side effects are uncommon at the doses recommended for men over 50 and are easily avoided by starting low, staying within the suggested range, and having your vitamin D blood levels checked periodically if you're supplementing long-term. The bigger point is this: if you notice new or worrying symptoms after starting vitamin D at night, don't try to push through or assume it's unrelated. Stop the supplement and speak with your doctor to rule out any individual sensitivity or interaction with your specific health profile. This approach is about partnership with your body, about working with biology rather than trying to hack it or force results. And men over 50 have earned the right to feel good, rested, steady, confident, in ways that respect their health and their dignity rather than putting either at risk. Let me answer some questions that naturally come up when men start thinking seriously about this vitamin at night approach, because clarity removes doubt and helps you commit to consistency. Can vitamin D also be taken in the morning if evenings don't work for your schedule? Technically, yes, vitamin D can be taken at any time of day and will still support overall levels, but the specific benefits related to sleep initiation, melatonin support, and overnight hormonal recovery are most pronounced when it's taken in the evening 30 to 60 minutes before bed. So if your goal is better sleep and morning vitality, nighttime timing is worth prioritizing. Does it ever make sense to split your dose between morning and night? Some men who are taking higher therapeutic doses under medical supervision, say 5,000 or more IU daily to correct a diagnosed deficiency, may find that splitting helps with absorption and reduces any mild digestive side effects, but for the general maintenance and sleep support doses we're discussing, taking the full amount at night in one go is simpler and aligns better with the circadian benefits. What should you do on nights when you forget and remember right at bedtime, or even after you've gotten into bed? Go ahead and take it anyway rather than skipping entirely. The consistency over weeks matters more than perfect timing every single night, and taking it even 10 minutes before sleep is better than not taking it at all. How do alcohol or caffeine in the evening affect whether this works? Both alcohol and caffeine disrupt sleep architecture and can counteract some of the calming, sleep-supportive effects of vitamin D. So if you're serious about seeing results, cutting off caffeine by early afternoon and minimizing or eliminating evening alcohol will amplify the benefits you get from the vitamin and help you feel the difference more clearly. Should you pair vitamin D with other nutrients like magnesium or vitamin K2 that are sometimes recommended together? Magnesium taken at night can complement vitamin D beautifully because it also supports relaxation and sleep. And vitamin K2 helps direct calcium to bones rather than soft tissues. But you don't need to overcomplicate things. Starting with vitamin D alone, seeing how you respond, and then considering additions later if you want to optimize further is a perfectly reasonable approach. How long should you try this routine before deciding whether it's helping you personally? Give it at least 2 full weeks of consistent nightly use, because the first week is often about your body adjusting and sleep patterns beginning to stabilize. And the second week is where you start noticing more obvious shifts in how rested you feel, how steady your energy is during the day, and whether your confidence in intimate moments feels like it's returning to a more comfortable baseline. Now, let me walk you through what to observe and notice over your first 7 nights, so you have realistic expectations and can track whether this is working for your individual body. For the first week, Pay attention to whether falling asleep feels easier or faster than it used to. Maybe you're drifting off within 20 or 30 minutes instead of lying awake for an hour with your mind racing. Notice whether you're waking fewer times during the night, or if you do wake to use the bathroom or for no clear reason, whether you're able to fall back asleep more quickly. Instead of staying awake for long stretches, track how your morning energy and mood feel when you first wake up. Are you feeling less flat, less like you're dragging yourself out of bed, and more like you have a baseline of vitality to draw on as the day begins? Pay attention to whether thoughts about intimacy feel closer to how you remember, whether you're experiencing morning firmness more consistently, or whether the sense of desire and capability feels less distant and more present in your awareness. Keep these observations simple and non-judgmental. You're not looking for perfection or a complete transformation. In 7 days, you're looking for subtle shifts that suggest your body is beginning to respond to the nightly support you're providing. By the end of the first week, most men notice at least 1 or 2 of these changes starting to happen more reliably, and that's your signal that the routine is worth continuing into the second week and beyond. By 14 consecutive nights of taking vitamin D at the same time each evening, the changes often become more integrated and noticeable in ways that go beyond just sleep. Many men report that their daytime stamina feels more stable. They're not hitting that mid-afternoon crash as hard. They're able to sustain focus and energy through the evening instead of collapsing on the couch, and they feel more like themselves in social and intimate situations rather than feeling like they're constantly managing fatigue and frustration. The sense of physical confidence often improves as well, with morning firmness becoming more predictable, the desire for intimacy feeling more natural rather than forced or absent, and the actual experience of physical connection feeling more responsive and less like a performance struggle. Sleep quality at 2 weeks is usually noticeably better than baseline, with fewer wake-ups, longer stretches of deep sleep, and a subjective sense that rest is actually restorative rather than just time spent in bed. These are the kinds of shifts that remind you what it feels like to have your body working with you instead of against you, and they're worth sharing so that other men know what's possible. So if you're noticing 1 or more of these improvements by the end of your second week, take a moment to comment below with your age, your country, and 1 specific change you felt after starting vitamin D at night, whether that's sleeping deeper, waking with more energy, feeling more confident, or simply recognizing that your body still has the capacity to feel good when you give it the right support at the right time. So here's what happens next, and what you need to do starting tonight. This isn't about reversing time or chasing the impossible. It's about removing the easy, fixable obstacles that stand between you and the energy, potency, and rest you still deserve as a man over 50 who's earned the right to feel capable, confident, and genuinely rested. The simple act of taking 1 vitamin in the right form at the right time each night can become a quiet, powerful signal to your body. My day is done, my work is complete, and now it's time to rebuild. So I wake up ready to meet tomorrow with strength and steadiness instead of exhaustion and doubt. In the comments below, share your age, your country, and whether you're going to try vitamin D at night for the next 7 evenings to see if it supports your sleep, vigor, and confidence the way it has for so many other men in this community. If this information made sense and you want more practical, evidence-based guidance on sleep, vitality, and the health challenges men over 50 face, go ahead and subscribe to the channel right now so you don't miss the insights that can help you age with dignity, capability, and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing your body still works when you treat it with the respect and support it deserves. Tonight can be the first quiet step toward deeper sleep, steadier vigor, and the kind of mornings where you wake up feeling more like the man you remember and still are. And it starts with 1 vitamin, 30 to 60 minutes before bed, taken with intention and patience as your body remembers how to rebuild itself the way it was always designed to.